I'm Jess, you're watching Living by the F Word, and this is my garage. And in this series, I'm gonna show you how I turned it from this into this. What's up, F Word lovers? Welcome back to Living by the F Word. If you're new to my channel, I'm Jess. I'm a fine artist, flight attendant, and festival enthusiast. And here on my channel, I talk about all the F words I love. Today's video is part 2 of how I converted my garage into a dream art studio. We are talking about how I epoxied the floor in here. I did vlog a lot of this experience. I have a lot of tips as far as some mistakes I made, some things that kind of tripped me up, and my overall experience with epoxying the floor, and I show you how I did the whole process from start to finish. I also talk about some problems I have that hopefully will clear any issues up for people that are planning to do a project like this in the future. And at the end, I will show you how the garage floor has held up. I did do this project 2 years ago, so I will let you know how it has held up over the past 2 years. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, so it is Monday, June 11th. It's about 2 weeks after the painting of the garage, which we did move everything back, and we were going to seal the floor clear because the concrete floor does create a lot of dirt and dust because it's not sealed. So since we're trying to create a studio and a cleaner environment to do work in, we figured we'd seal the floor. So you had seen the video in the first part where I did the pull it out on the big oil stain that we had here, and I mean, it kind of just looks like it covered it a little bit, not really pulled it out that much. But then as we were looking around, we kind of realized, wow, this floor is disgusting. Are we really gonna clear coat seal this disgusting floor? So we looked into some other options, and we've decided that we are going to epoxy paint the floor with a Rock Solid Rust-oleum paint. It is a paint kit, so I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do it. The first thing I had to do was completely clear out the garage and clear the entire floor so that it can be cleaned. So I'm going to vacuum it now, and then I'm going to do the first part of the cleaning process, which I will show you. All right, guys, so this is the particular, oop, boobies. Probably don't see that too much in other home improvement videos, but this is the kit that we decided to go with. It is the Rock Solid by Rust-oleum. It is a 2.5 garage car kit. And let me just pick up so you can see what I'm saying. And it comes with the instructions, the concrete etch, which is the first part that you need to do in order to make sure that the concrete is completely clean of debris. Otherwise, the paint might not adhere properly. It also comes with 2 foam rollers and 2 polycarbonate. Did I even say that right? Probably not. Burst pouches, which basically is the paint in 2 separate pouches that once you're ready to paint the floor, you mix the 2 pouches together. I'll show you how to do that. And decorative domino chips. So those are like little decorative chips that go on top of the paint to make it look like a speckled floor. I actually bought extra ones. Well, my mom actually bought extra ones. So these are the ones that we are using, which are the domino. Actually, they're not the domino. We wanted the domino ones, which has black in it. This is glacier gray blend, so it still has some black, gray, and white. And then she actually also found some by Bear, which has glitter in it. So, ooh, you know we're putting the glitter in the floor. A few things first. Big squeegee that I bought with adjustable handle and everything, of course locked while I was in Home Depot. Isn't locking right now, so you know, there's that. That's always fun when things don't work. but I'm just making do because I'm losing time and I gotta keep going. Second thing is the degreaser, the pull it out that I had used and it was looking pretty good. Well, that's pretty much non-existent now that I just hosed the garage down. So I guess that's a permanent oil stain since it was over 20 years old. Hopefully the decorative chips and whatever will, I don't know, cover that up a little bit. I'm sure, as you guys all know, nothing ever goes according to plan. I had to run to Home Depot to get one of these, which they suggest you use to mix the etch with the water. Boobies! You cannot mix it with the paint. You have to mix it with water. All right, just so we're all, boobies! Just so we're all on the same page here. It says, mix concrete etch with 2 gallons of water until dissolved. Do not add concrete etch directly to paint. Pre-wet entire floor using a hose, then remove pooled water. Use a plastic watering can to evenly distribute the etch solution over a 10 by 10 section of floor. So I've added the etch powder into a watering can, and I will distribute it in little sections and use a scrub brush to scrub out any remaining dust and dirt. Keep the entire section wet until it has been etched and rinsed, and then move on to the next section. Once completed, rinse and squeegee the entire floor to remove any traces of etch. Do not leave pooled water on the floor. Etch will not discolor driveways or harm grass or plants if it's rinsed thoroughly. Dude, really? This is what you're gonna get now. Me not even be able to screw this shit on. So I highly doubt you could hear it, but when you pour the etching onto the concrete, it starts to make a sizzling sound, like it's, I don't know, like you're cooking a skillet or something. It's really strange. So I guess the acid chemical in there is super powerful. It does say it's super dangerous. So I guess that's why you have to fully rinse it, which this should be interesting. Not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. Alright, so I just hosed it out twice, but I'm still seeing areas where it looks like that like whitish, and you can see my footprints too over here. So like that. To me, that seems like there's still etching on the ground. And I'm also scared because I'm seeing it on the driveway, and I'm scared it's gonna damage my driveway. I really wish I could have just skipped this part and painted. I feel like, I don't know if this is really necessary or not, because it's exhausting, and now it's 5:10 and I want to try to paint this tomorrow, and I don't know if it'll be dry by 12 hours or 14 hours from now. So home renos, man. Alright, so welcome to day 2 of part 2 of the never-ending garage project. So I woke up and my driveway has a nice white stain all over it, and it's a brand new driveway that was just poured last summer. I saw this spot drying and I was like, oh shit, it's white, that's not good. And so that's when I decided to wash the whole driveway again, and then woke up with it looking like this. So not good. So I called Rust-oleum customer support, And he said that it should be power washable. I was just using a hose. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. It seems like the tech support guy was right, because as I am spraying, you see all the white that's getting washed. That's all the etching solution that still is on top of the pavement here. You could see that it's getting washed away, but you could also see that my pressure from my hose is terrible, so that's why he said a power washer. An update on the driveway, I re-washed it out and it looks much better. Alright, so this is the inside of the garage. You could see how there's kind of like the whiter areas. You could see where it's stained, and you could even see the footprints from my shoes from the etching. And they say if you rub the floor and dust comes up on your hands, then it's not completely out and you have to rewash it. They say it should feel like sandpaper, which it does. So the whole point of etching is to basically create a surface for the epoxy paint to adhere to. Otherwise it won't stick properly. You know, there's a lot of dust that concrete creates, so that makes it able to stick. That's why you need to etch it, but it's kind of a process I wish I could have skipped altogether, but I see why, because the texture is definitely different than before when it was a bunch of dust and dirt coming up. Now, he said that it's fine because, as you can tell, I'm rubbing my fingers and there's absolutely no dust or anything. So I think I'm fine to paint. Hey, so it's a little after 1:15 and I'm gonna start painting. I just wanted to make sure that I had all of the kit and everything I need to paint together so that I don't have to run inside, or I don't want to walk outside because I just rehosed my driveway and I don't want wet shoes to be in the garage I'm about to paint because it needs to be completely dry. So they recommend that you wait, after you do the etching and the rinsing, that you wait 24 to 48 hours, or make sure that the cement is completely dry. And they have different moisture tests that you can do online to determine if it's completely dry or not. It hasn't been humid here. It's actually perfect 70 degrees for painting, and it has a nice breeze and everything feels dry to me, so I'm hoping everything's dry. It's been about, let's see, I finished at 6 p.m. yesterday when it was wet. I guess it's been about 19 hours now. So close to 24 hours. I would wait longer, but I need to wake up at 2:30 in the morning, which is less than 12 hours from now for work. So I need to go to bed early, so I need to get this done. All right, so as you can see, there is a part A and a part B, and it's divided by this little pouch. Here you can see there's a divider. There were some people online that were saying that their bags were delivered to them and it had already burst, which means you can't use it. I'm gonna read the instructions, but basically you need to roll part A into part B, which will pop, and then mix the two together, which is gonna start the painting process, and you need to use that bag within 1 hour. So that means that hopefully I'll be done painting within about 2.5 hours basically. So the other good thing is it says that you can just clip a corner of the bag and pour it in 2 to 3 inch ribbons. So you're gonna pour it about 2 feet away from the wall, and so about here, and then you're gonna cut in along the wall and then roll out and do 4x4 sections, and then sprinkle the chips on, and you leave about 1 foot or 2 to re-roll the next section that you're gonna do. You don't wanna be rolling the chips. I am using the roller that they provided, which is right here. You do not need a paint bin like this, but I'm just keeping it out so that I can place the bag when I'm not pouring it in there. In case anything leaks out, it's gonna go in there, because I don't really want to deal with it all leaking out on me and then I have a disaster. These are the chips, decorative chips that they provide. There's 2, 1 for each side. If you look at Home Depot, they have, or even online on the Rust-oleum site, they have what it looks like when there's just the included chips, or if you put extra chips. We like the extra chip look because with the included chips it looks kind of sparse, So as I said, my mom did buy metallic, which is actually a Behr brand, but I'm going to mix 1 part of that with 1 part that comes with it, so that hopefully it'll all be mixed together and there'll be like a few little metallic specks going on. Wish me luck, I'm gonna start painting. Okay, so I've just started the second side of the garage and I just wanted to show you guys something. There are repair kits if you want to patch up any cracks or holes. As you can see, there are a bunch of little chips and holes here on this side of the garage. For us, it wasn't too important to do that because, for one, this isn't going to be a showroom or anything like that. This side that I already painted is going to be a craft room, which is gonna have a bunch of stuff all over the floor anyway. And this side, we're gonna have a car parked in here. So for us, it wasn't important, but if you're on the same page as us and you don't wanna spackle or use the kit that they have to buy separately to fill all this in, what I'm doing is I've just been shaking the brush like this. I'm doing it left-handed right now because I'm recording in my right hand, but just basically getting it in there as much as I can, so that those holes are filled, and then the chips will cover it too. But just a heads up if you have something looking like that and you want to patch it up. All right, so I just finished everything, but I wanted to bring up an important point and show you guys, which of course it's gonna be hard now with the sun here and I can't step in the garage. So my apologies. It is extremely, there you can see it there. It is extremely important that you use the bag of paint in the time period, in the pop period they call it, that they tell you. So when it's a certain temperature, you need to use and paint everything within 45 minutes. And when it's a certain other temperature, which basically it is right now, it's about 70 degrees, you have to use it within an hour. I mixed the second bag at, let's see, it was 3:15, and I finished about 15 minutes ago, so I went 15 minutes over when I was supposed to use all the paint and pour it, and they mean what they say. It will bubble, so you can see right there and there the strips of paint that I poured for this very last section, which of course is the part that gets drived on the most and the most foot traffic. So I'm really concerned because it's probably gonna chip and bubble. You could see the thickness. I tried to cover it with chips. You can see right there the thickness difference. It would not spread out, so much so that I had to change the roller out because the rollers they provided started to break because it was so tacky. It started to peel off and I couldn't roll properly. So you're probably wondering, how has this epoxy floor held up in my garage over the last 2 years? Well, the side that the studio side is on, it has been absolutely incredible. I walk barefoot in here sometimes in the summer. It is definitely clean. It has definitely eliminated the dust from the concrete that used to come up and pick up all the time. It's very clean in here. I highly recommend you epoxying the floor, especially if you're gonna try to create a space where you're gonna be spending a lot of time. All right, guys, so this is the side that the studio is on. You can see that it has held up really nicely in here. It's still really, really nice in here for being 2 years old. There's not a lot of foot traffic in here, so that's probably why. I do just want to show you the side where the car is parked. The side where the car is parked does have some wear and tear. They do give you some recommendations on how you can clean the floor if you want to, but we live in New Jersey, there's winters here, there's rock salt, there's tons of crap that gets on the tires, and I just don't really see a point in cleaning it. It still looks better than the cement floor that we had. All right, this is the side where we park the car still. You can see that it's pretty dirty from the tire marks coming in. It's still pretty good as far as where there's no car being parked, but yeah, it's definitely filthy from rock salt, rain, debris, and the tires coming in on it. So it's just something to be mindful of if you're trying to do a showroom. We haven't cleaned it at all, so this is 2 years of dirt and being driven on. So it really doesn't matter to us. This is still the garage, obviously, so really doesn't matter to us on this side. It just was to cover all the oil stains and everything on the studio side, which is really the most important. Yeah, basically, if you want to keep your epoxy floor clean and you're parking cars on it, like a showroom or something like that, you definitely probably need to clean your tires off before you pull it in. Depending on where you live, you definitely need to follow their recommendations as far as how to clean the epoxy. But on the side where there's really no foot traffic and there's no car being parked, absolutely beautiful. Still looks exactly the same as when I first did it. So I definitely recommend the product. I think the biggest takeaway for me was try to do it with at least 2 people. I did it all on my own and it was a lot of work. You have to work really fast, as I said in the vlog. And I had that ripple effect where it was starting to dry because I went a little bit over the time limit. A lot of the YouTube videos that I watched, there were professional people doing it and they had 3 or 4 guys doing it and they were like, it's so easy. It's a little harder if you're doing it by yourself, so just be mindful that you'll get burnt out because you have to work quickly. Not to mention I was vlogging the whole experience, so it did take me a little longer, but still really happy with how this turned out. All right, guys, that wraps up how I epoxied the floor, which is part 2 of this series of how I turned my garage into my dream art studio. Don't forget to subscribe so that way you get notified when I upload the next 2 videos. What we're gonna be talking about in the next 2 videos are organization, how I organized all my craft and art supplies. Also gonna be talking about how I decorated the studio to make it my dream studio. And then the last video is gonna be the studio tour, which you absolutely do not wanna miss. It is incredible. I absolutely love this space. So make sure you tell your friends, share this video, like it, and like I said, subscribe, hit those post notification bells so that way you get notified. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.